What's the most interesting take on a robot?
Well, I don't think I can say that. There was this kid that built this like tree. It had like a thick trunk and like two big leaves. And then like they were all giggling at it, driving around. It's like this huge robot. They're like giggling about it. I was like, well, what's so funny about this? Then he was like, oh, flip the tree upside down and see what it is. Then I was like, ah, shit. Okay, I need to remove that picture from the Google Drive that I sent to the teachers. Hi, I'm Kai. I sell chopsticks so that kids can build robots. I was a really naughty kid. I think I still hold the record for most suspensions in my secondary school. I always be put on probation, not allowed to go for competitions. Teachers make me sit at the side of the class, or like outside the class even. The big change for me was knowing that, hey, I'm not stupid. This is just a different learning environment. That feeling of unfairness kind of contributed to me saying it's not fair that there's a lot of kids that can't experience robotics, tinkering with things. Over the years, I think that gave me a very strong sense to right this inequality in STEM.
What was your aha moment when you were building Stickum?
I had the idea of creating something for kids to build things. And then when I went to my kitchen, I opened the drawer and hey, there's a tapao chopsticks that were not used. There were a lot of them, like bundled up in like a rubber band. They're quite strong. You can cut them, so it's not like a Lego connector where you feel afraid to damage it. And they're quite cheap. That's where the chopstick idea came from. We can use chopsticks for building things and not just for eating. If you look at our first ever product sketch, it looks exactly like what Stickum is right now. Yeah, exactly. So that's why it's kind of weird because usually entrepreneurs pivot a lot, right?
Yeah.
Something doesn't work, they have to pivot the product, find new ways. But the whole idea of Stickum from the very, very start has been the exact same, which I think we're very lucky because we're first-time founders. So having the product that works really well, it's kind of crazy actually.
I was bored, not bad at school. And I wonder how many kids you meet that are like that. When kids play with Stickum, do you see the curiosity, the fun switch on for them?
It happened right there actually. We had this kid that came in, always getting frustrated. So within 5 minutes of just like, oh, give up, then he'll run off the playground. After I think 3 or 4 sessions with Stickum, there was one point where the motor didn't work. The electronics board was all connected, everything, but the wire didn't work. So instead of running off and like giving up or like shouting like some vulgarity, he traced it back to the board. Then he checked everything one by one. Then he was like, oh, the wire is flipped. Then he flipped it back and then it worked. But for us, it was a big win because that showed like a big character growth from like giving up very easily to being more patient, more adaptable, and just like, oh, wow, I can fix this by myself.
So I remember when I did science in school, I noticed there was always like a lot more boys in the class.
Yes, I'm very intentional with that. We focus a lot on like girls in STEM programs. So it's just a bunch of girls coming in and try to show them, this is not for boys, this is for like everyone. You can definitely do this too. I had this group of girls that they're really smart, but they had this confidence issue where they were like, no, I don't think we can do this. Let's just let the guys do it, like figure it out and then we'll copy them. And then I was like, no, you guys try it for yourself. I just kept circling back to their group like, okay, why we try this, why we try that? And then they were the first one to figure out, they were the first group to crack that sensor challenge. And then the smiles on their faces, yeah, I can't believe I forgot about that story. To me, I was like, wow, if they're like primary 3 and they're saying that already, like what does that say about the way they perceive these challenges?
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, probably in that moment, you broke a potential cycle for them.
I hope so. But the thing about these things is that it cannot be a one-off thing because, I mean, kids have so many memories. They're growing up so quickly. It has to be something that keeps happening for them. Creating sustained experiences like this is what we're trying to target, not like a one-off feel-good.
So you brought me here today specifically because this neighborhood has a special place for Stickum. Can you tell me about that?
I'm 22. I'm not that old. But the playgrounds used to be, they weren't designed for safety. They were designed to maximize like goofy, like look at how goofy this is. It's goofy, it's fun, it's silly, it's dangerous. I think you fall off from there, you probably break an arm. But I think kids need that. They don't need a very sterile, like if you look at a lot of playgrounds now, you can put an image of those very new playgrounds that they keep installing. It's so many like guardrails. It's very clean and simple. There's not much room for imagination. They've put the imagination there already. It's a pirate ship already. And there's not much space for imagination. But the old school playgrounds and I think a lot of the ways that we used to do things in the past, it was very unsafe. There was not so much consideration for, oh, how do we make sure that every single kid that comes here is going to be using this like the exact way that we want it. Yeah, so I'm really against those newer playgrounds.
Why is it important to have space for play and different sorts of imagination?
I think that's where your brain kind of rewires itself to understand the world better. Because tactile learning, failing in school is not encouraged, right? You're not supposed to be failing. But failing at the playground is very different. And when you're playing with things, it's just, it puts you in this mind space of like, oh, I'm really just here to mess around. I'm not here for like this specific learning outcome. That's kind of been baked into how we run Stickum also, that when kids are in the class, they'll come and ask me, oh, Joe, what's the correct idea? What's the correct idea? I don't know. Go try. I don't know. There's no correct solution. It's really just go build something, present your idea, be able to explain it, and then move on to the next thing and keep building things. I think they just become the exact same. I think inside we're all kids. We just need the opportunity to regress into being a kid again.
Let's talk about age a little bit. What about adults or older folks? Have you seen
Oh, yeah.
people play with Stickum there?
Okay, one of my favorite things about Stickum is that when we do our workshops for teachers to train them, we very, very intentionally step back once they build the robot and we don't facilitate anymore. And then you will see like videos, I have so many videos of them like jumping around, screaming, and they forget that they're teachers for a moment. They're just shouting and screaming. Yeah. They're like driving the robot around, jumping around. Hey, he blocked my robot. Like, it's always the same thing. So people would think, oh, maybe seniors or teachers are more careful. But if you design the workshop around not making them careful and making them just, you know what, like the exact lesson that the kids do is what the teachers are going to do. I think they just become the exact same.
What is the place of hands-on learning in a world that is like very, very, very online today?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think the whole world is shifting to a lot of AI softwares, a lot of online-based learnings even in schools. Like everyone has like a personal learning device where they just do everything on that. Even homework is starting to be assigned on the online systems for schools. But I think Stickum's place is that there has to be a hardware layer. There has to be a layer where kids are actually building things. I keep saying building things, but I really think it's so important that kids get to experience all these things. A lot of kids are not going to the playground anymore. They're staying at home scrolling on their phone. I sound like a boomer, but it's true. Like, if you look at us 10 years ago, we didn't have this whole TikTok craze where everything was optimized to get our attention. And now I think that's slowly being sucked away from kids, where every waking moment there are different apps, games that's competing for their attention. I think that's quite damaging for their brains. What we have been doing for Singapore's youth is to create more confident problem solvers that actually care about the problems they're solving. We have this really interesting lesson about unexploded ordnance in Laos. There are villages that they just walk around in the field, they just get their legs blown off because there's a bomb that was completely covered. So that sounds like a very heavy topic. And when we tell the kids they're going to be building a bomb disposal robot, they start cheering. They're like, oh, we're going to build bomb disposal robots. Then we start to tell them, hey, why do we build bomb disposal robots? It's because around the world, there are these very, very, very serious and very real issues that people are losing their lives, losing their limbs because of these mines. And then you see the class go silent and they start to think. And then they think a bit. And then now, it's no longer just about building like a fun robot, but there's an actual lesson behind why we're building this robot. If you scroll through Stickum Academy, you'll see that we have basic science lessons, catapults, math, algebra. Those are boring. Those can be done with any STEM tool out there. But the more familiar they get, we start to probe them about different things. Assistive technology, which is what I grew up doing a lot of. Why do we need to build adaptable solutions for people that have muscular dystrophy or wheelchair bound? Why do we need to care about that? Why can't we just work at a big FANG company and continue doing what the Singapore dream is?
I've seen in your LinkedIn posts you have like a lot of compassion for teachers.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about that? Like, where does that come from?
Being this really naughty kid growing up, I think maybe it's part of me also wants to be able to give back to teachers after tormenting them for so long. Okay, no, but no, in all seriousness, when we started out, we were working a lot with kids. So training kids, going to school, running programs for the kids. But if I run a class for 30 kids, that's a once-off thing. I have to keep running the class for 30 kids. But when we're in like 10 schools, 30 schools, 50 schools all around the world, how am I going to go teach every single kid, right? So instead, what we do is we teach the teachers and we provide all the different things that they'll need in their whole journey. I mean, they say every school is a good school. That's true for Singapore specifically. But every school is at a different stage. So some schools are really quite advanced. They have all their stuff together already. The principal knows exactly what they want to do for robotics. Some schools have really no idea. And they need us to kind of come in and be like, hey, let's try this small pilot for a while, and then let's try to upgrade this next year. We try to meet them where they're at. We don't try to force fit, oh, here's how this Stickum program's gonna work. No, go run it, go make time for it. But instead, it's more like, hey, we have this product, Stickum, we have the teacher training, we can guide your teachers to do these certain things, but do it at your own pace.
What's something you wish you could say to the teachers you grew up with?
Ooh. There are two types of teachers, the teachers that believed in me and the teachers that did not believe in me. Teachers that believed in me, thank you. I mean, they probably know this because I still talk to them. So thanks for not being too harsh on me and understanding that, with ADHD is a bit different. The teachers that were not very nice to me and were not very kind, I just hope that you're able to understand that different students have different learning needs. And you can't just school your way into a good student. You really have to nurture them and be patient with them.